Hello, how are you? Eggs are one of the most nutritious foods out there, super complete. But there are some mistakes when preparing, consuming, or combining them that can turn this superfood into a problem, even for your health. Today, I'm going to tell you what the main mistake is that many people make, but also other common mistakes for you to avoid, so you can get more benefits from this wonderful food. Stick around until the end because you won't want to miss this. Before we start, I want to ask you, do you have the habit of eating eggs on a daily basis? How many eggs do you eat per day? I would love to see your comment. Please like the video if you can. That is very important to me. It shows YouTube that you support the channel and trust my content. And if you know someone who eats or consumes a lot of eggs daily and you think they need these tips, share this video. Let's expand our chain of kindness. That's what I want here with the channel. Honestly, eggs are a very interesting food, very complete. It's super rich in high biological value proteins. It's also very rich in choline, which is good for the brain. It's one of the few foods that is naturally a source of vitamin D, and it contains many minerals. So it's a very nutritious food and very affordable too, especially when compared to meat, chicken, or fish, and it's part of many people's daily diet. The problem is that many people make mistakes when consuming eggs, which can take all those beneficial qualities and actually turn them into a less healthy food for us. The worst mistake when eating eggs is definitely frying them in fat, like soybean oil, for example, or using a large amount of fat. When we do that, the egg acts almost like a sponge because it absorbs a large part of that fat. Digestion will be slower, you might experience gastrointestinal discomfort because of it, and that meal can become more inflammatory. So, be careful when preparing eggs. If you need to add a little oil to your pan, make sure it's a healthier oil, like olive oil, for example. And remember to measure the amount of fat you use. Usually, 1 teaspoon is enough to keep your eggs from sticking to the pan and to get that fried egg look you want without overdoing it and soaking the egg in too much fat. The second mistake has to do with the cooking temperature of the egg because very high temperatures can oxidize the fat in the egg, degrade some nutrients, and form some inflammatory compounds. Oils that are considered good, when we heat them well above their smoke point, can lose their nutritional quality. So, that classic fried egg with the crispy edges all burnt and that darker look from the excess oil, well, that's a clear sign for us that there might be some sort of technical mistake in the way it was actually prepared. It's essentially a culinary error, obviously. And it can also lead to a certain kind of nutritional mistake as well, right? Regarding the quality of these ingredients, the nutrients that will be transformed during this high temperature process, it can even be harmful to our health. The third mistake has to do with the doneness of the egg. There are people who like to eat eggs undercooked, or even raw eggs. I think nowadays, less so, but in the past, it was common for people to make those shakes and add several raw eggs to get a lot of cheap protein. Raw eggs or eggs with very runny yolks are tricky because these eggs, which aren't properly cooked, have lower protein bioavailability. So, we can't absorb the protein from raw eggs as well as we could if the egg were cooked. This ends up keeping avidin active, which is a protein present there that makes it harder to absorb biotin, and it also obviously increases the microbiological risk, right? This is especially important for older adults or young children because there is a potential risk of salmonella with some eggs. So we need to be careful about cooking eggs properly, right? Soft-boiled eggs or those with runny yolks aren't generally recommended, especially when you're feeding vulnerable groups. It's absolutely vital to pay attention both to protein bioavailability and, of course, to the overall microbiological safety of the food. So ideally, you should always cook eggs until the yolk is firm and well cooked to avoid these risks. Be careful not to overdo it with eggs, especially when it comes to the yolks. We know that egg whites are basically pure protein, mainly albumin, and when we talk about how many eggs to eat per day, we're really talking more about how many yolks to consume. So there are a lot of people who say, oh, I eat 10 eggs a day. Those athletes, influencers, but usually they have nutritional guidance and medical supervision. And many times, the number of yolks is limited for that reason. Because the yolk does in fact contain a large amount of fat, a high number of calories, and a significant amount of dietary cholesterol. So we can eat egg yolks. They are nutritious as long as it's done in moderation, just like with any other food. So if you want to eat a larger quantity of eggs because of the protein, to make up for some other protein source you would normally eat, but it's more expensive, remember that you can freeze those yolks to eat later. This helps you avoid excess fats and calories unnecessarily. Another mistake is exactly the opposite. People who never eat egg yolks thinking the yolk is the villain. We already know that's not true. The egg yolk is actually very rich. It's one of the few foods that naturally contains vitamin D. It has choline, which is essential for the brain, for muscles, antioxidants, and is important for our vision. and part of the egg's protein is also found in the yolk. So always removing the yolk is neither good for your health nor necessary. Remember that separating the amount of yolk from the white only makes sense for culinary reasons, or if you're really going to consume a large quantity, more than 3 eggs a day. In that case, it might be worth it. If you're unsure about how much egg white, yolk, or whole eggs to eat in your daily routine, remember to consult your nutritionist or your doctor in your city. Another mistake is more related to acceptance and palatability, right? Which is when someone always eats eggs the same way. There are people who always make it the same way. They prepare the same texture, every day the same thing. This can end up causing a certain intolerance, right? After a while, it can make you tired of eating it the same way. So remember that eggs are an extremely versatile food. You can make sweet dishes, savory dishes, you can make omelets, frittatas, so many things really. Mix it with vegetables, mix it with other types of protein. Here on the channel, I have a playlist of egg recipes where the egg is the star, and I'll leave it down below in the description to inspire you. Also, pay attention to the signals your body gives you. If you're eating a lot more eggs than before and you're experiencing persistent bloating, nausea, frequent discomfort, it could be related to an excess of eggs, poor digestibility, or some particular issue of yours. So it's always important for us to pay attention to the signals our body gives and try to act accordingly. Just because eggs are healthy doesn't mean we should overdo it, just like I mentioned with other foods, right? What's really important is that we have a varied diet, and besides eggs, which are nutritious and healthy, we should also eat other foods in our daily lives. I want to know if you've made any of these mistakes and if you're going to change. Which one did you make? I would love to see your comment. Remember to like the video because that really helps me, and share it with anyone you think could use these tips. Let's spread this chain of kindness because that's what I want here on the channel. See you next time. Bye.